This to you all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today we are continuing with Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharaj, are we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yeah, continue with Bhagavatam.
Yes, Maharaj.
Hare
So
Krishna,
today's
Hare Krishna,
verse is second canto, chapter number 6 and verse number 32. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Go Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sujamitam niyuktaham haraharatitar vasaha Vishwam Purusha Rupena Paripati Trishakti Drik. By his will, I create, Lord Shiva destroys, and he himself, in his form as the personality of Godhead, maintains everything. He is a powerful controller of these three energies. Purport. The conception of one without a second is clearly confirmed here. The one is Lord Vasudeva, and the only by his different energies and expansions or different manifestations, both in the material and the spiritual world, maintained. In the material world also, Lord Vasudeva is everything as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7:19, Vasudevam Sarvamiti. Everything is Vasudeva only. In the Vedic hymns also the same Vasudeva is held to be supreme. It said in the Vedas, Vasudevat Paro Brahman Nadshayor Da Sti Tadvataha. In fact, there is no greater truth than Vasudeva. And Lord Krishna affirms the same truth in the Bhagavad Gita, Matta Parataram Naya. There is nothing above me, Lord Krishna. So the conception of oneness, as overly stressed by the impersonalists, is also accepted by the personal devotees of the Lord. The difference is that the impersonalist denies personality in the ultimate issue, whereas the devotees give more importance to the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam explains this truth in the verse under discussion. Lord Vasudeva is one without a second, but because he is all-powerful, he can expand himself as well as display his omnipotencies. The Lord is described here as omnipotent by the three energies, Sri Shakti Drik. So, primarily, his three energies are internal, marginal, and external. This external energy is also displayed in the three modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Similarly, the internal potency is also displayed in three spiritual modes, Samvit, Sandini, and Ladini. The marginal potency of the living entity is also spiritual, Prakritim Vidime Param. But the living entities are never equal to the Lord. The Lord is Nirasta Samha Ati Saya. In other words, there is no one greater than or equal to the Supreme Lord. So the living entities, including even such great personalities as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, are all subordinate to the Lord. The material world also, in his eternal form as Vishnu, he maintains and controls all the affairs of the demigods, including Brahma and Shiva. Omagyantimidandasya Ganajana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutalai Srimakte Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharini Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya satarine vanchakalpatarubhischa Kripa sindhupe vacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namaho namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Throughout the Vedic scriptures, it always gives complete and clear evidence of the supreme position of the supreme personality of Godhead. Although there is much mention of the impersonal manifestation of the Lord in terms of his Brahman effulgence, which pervades all of creation. And also there is mention of his localized feature as Paramatma within the heart of all living beings. The glory goes to the personality of Godhead because he is the source of Brahman, Paramatma, and as I mentioned here, to maintain the material world, Vishnu is the maintainer, and Brahma and Shiva, who are creators and destroyers, get their power and direction to do their service from Krishna or Vishnu. And in one sense, they are non-different, but at the same time, they are different than the Supreme Lord. Anyone who puts Brahma, Vishnu, or any demigod on the same level as the Supreme Lord, Krishna, or above the Lord, is considered to be Pashandi, as the verse explains from the Upanishads, that it's also mentioned as the second offense to the holy name to put Brahma and Shiva equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu or Krishna. So in all aspects of existence and manifestations, and even within the spiritual realm, there is one supreme manifestation that makes everything else happen. He's not a manifestation, he is the source. No one can understand Krishna. He says in the Bhagavad Gita, I know everything that has happened in the past. I know everything that is happening in the present. And I know everything that will happen in the future. And I also know all living entities, but me, no one knows. That's from the Bhagavad Gita 7:26. In that same chapter, which is mentioned here, Mata Parataram Nanya, as pearls are strung on the thread, so everything is situated on the Supreme Lord, both as the source of coming from the Lord and also maintained by the Lord. And through his different energies, according to the time factor, everything is destroyed by the Lord. So when one knows everything really centers around and is maintained and developed and ultimately destroyed by the Lord, then an intelligent person says, well, there's nothing left but for me to surrender to the Lord, because if the Lord is everything. That person is called Vidvan. It means they have good intelligence, because they know everything and anything, both material and spiritual, is situated on the will of the Lord and on the power of development from the Lord. We are also, as is mentioned here, one of the three energies. There is internal, external, and marginal. The Antaranga Shakti, the Bahiranga Shakti, and the Tatastha Shakti. Antaranga Shakti is the superior spiritual energy. Bahiranga Shakti is the cut-off material energy. three modes of material nature. And the Tassa Shakti is the living entities who are encased in material energy but are spiritual by nature. These are the three. And you'll see in Sanvit, Sandini, and Ladini how he knows everything. Sandini, Samvit, how he maintains everything, Sandini, and how he is the source of all transcendental happiness, Ladini. So, God, we say God is great. We say God is all powerful. But that doesn't really tell you much because we also apply those terms to others. People are great, powerful. But when you understand, in fact, by scripture and by the words of the greatest acharyas, then you understand what is the quality of that greatness. And then you can understand what greatness is. As Krishna says, before the creation, I existed. During the manifestation, I exist. And after the annihilation, I remain. So as all changes go, both transformations in the spiritual realm and what you might say, creation and destruction in the material realm, all of this is under the control directly of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, also through his different energy, Parasya Shakti Vidhaya Suyate Svabhaviki Jnanam Balakriya Cha. That means when he wants something done, especially in the material energy, he simply thinks about it, and that thought process activates that energy accordingly, and then the energy carries out his desire. But it doesn't work for you. You might think about you want something to happen or do something, but unless you actually carry it out or make some plan for someone to carry it out, it doesn't happen. But Krishna is not like that. All he has to do is desire it, and it manifests like that. That's his all-powerful nature. So we get a little insight of the glory of God here. And so when we're worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears in his form as the deity or in the form of the holy name, which are also absolute principles of the same absolute truth, that is, there's no difference. We understand that, all of the aspects of the Supreme Lord are equally as powerful, and God is so great that he can manifest himself as the smallest of the small and as the largest of the large, or anywhere in between. So there is no limit to his greatness, as there is no limit from the material perspective to the sky. Just like if you'd fly your plane upward in the sky, you can just keep going as high as the plane can go. And then you can only go so far by your mechanical apparatus. But the sky keeps going. There's no limit. So in the same way, God is unlimitedly powerful, unlimitedly great, and everything manifested, unmanifested, and yet to be manifested is also his energies, directly or indirectly. Therefore, the sensible thing is, well, how do I connect with such a personality? And I have a connection because it says that I am eternally related to him, because he is my source. He's the source of all living entities. So when one creates someone or manifests as someone, then that object has some connection with the original manifestation. So we have an eternal connection with God. It's not that we have to develop a relationship or a connection. It's there. because he is our source. And at the same time, our maintainer, protector, provider, all of the aspects that come with the creation of the living being. So then the sensible thing is, I should just abide by his order. Because if I don't abide by his order, I have to suffer. And if I abide by his order, I get his benefit. And nothing works outside of him anyway. If you don't follow his order, he has another energy that forces you to suffer because you have not abided by his order, and forces you ultimately to give up your independent nature and come back to his order. And if you refuse his, what we say, his correcting energy, which is the material energy, then life after life you suffer to take bodies and die, take bodies and die, continuing in that cycle as long as you remain, what we say, stubborn and won't engage in devotional service to him, because devotional service is the connection. As he says in the Bhagavad Gita, he who abides me in great and transcendental faith is most intimately united with me and is the highest of all. So he's talking about bhakti, to serve the Lord. And when you're serving someone, you actually find out what will make them satisfied, pleased by your service. What do they need? Of course, Krishna doesn't need anything, but he gives us an opportunity to connect with him through this process of service. So we get to know him, because knowledge of him manifests through service to him. And as we get to know him and know his greatness and all of his unlimited qualities, such as beauty, wealth, fame, strength, knowledge, renunciation, all of these qualities are there, then our attraction for the Lord increases. Because in this world, the living entity is chasing after this. I want to be famous. I want to be knowledgeable. I want to be strong. I want to be beautiful. I want to be wealthy. And there's those who like to be known as being renounced. So all of these things that are full in Krishna, in the completeness of his nature, people are chasing in this material world in the break-off parts of these qualities, in terms of the manifestations of these things that we see in the material world, which are just a puny spark, as Krishna says. I maintain and support this an entire material energy with a spark of my splendor. It's just so insignificant. So stop chasing the things that you can find in Krishna in this material world, and find it in Krishna through your service to the Lord. So those who don't take up devotional service don't know their best interest, and ultimately have to struggle and suffer life after life. As Srila Prabhupada says, the alternative to devotional service is simply suffering. That's all. There's no second alternative. Either you serve the Lord, or you have to be to take shelter of his material energy, and she takes care of you by providing opportunities for you to gain something which ultimately causes you suffering, and ultimately you have to lose it, including our bodies also. So therefore, when you know the greatness of God and the complete absolute nature of God, and how to connect with God, if you don't, then what is you're simply, as it says, when we say Maya aprita gyan, your intelligence has completely been stunted, stolen. You have no intelligence. Therefore, if you don't have any intelligence, you don't know your best interests. If you don't know your best interests, you create other types of interests which only cause you to come under the control of the material energy for the process of suffering. So we have to understand we're in this material world because we left Krishna. And now the idea is to get out of this material world and get back to Krishna. So that's the program. And devotional service is the direct process. Karma yoga, jnana yoga, raja yoga, all of the different yogas are partial manifestations of the elevation of conscious, which leaves one incomplete. They take one a little bit above the material energy in some degree, but don't fully satisfy the living entity's desire for complete happiness and complete, success in life. Only devotional service. That's why Krishna says, only by devotional service can I be known as I am, standing before you, and thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. So one who takes up the devotional service is a very special soul. They're considered to be vidvan. Vidvan means very good intelligence. And one who absorbs themselves in that devotional service is the greatest of all. And one who reaches the perfection of devotional service, prema pumarta mahan, love of God, and then they join the eternal associates of Krishna in the spiritual world, where life is eternal, full of knowledge, and always joyful, centered around the activities of the Lord and his extended spiritual realm, where there's such a variety of activities. We think, what if I go to the spiritual world, what will I do there? The question is, what are you doing here? That's the question, because here there are varieties. There's no question about that. But here the varieties are limited. In the spiritual world, there's varieties, but because spirit is unlimited, so are the varieties of activities and forms also unlimited in the spiritual world. So whatever you see in this material world is a limited version of the spiritual world with all of the problems. Well, I mean, the spiritual is without all of the problems of the material world. So our intelligence, when it's completely formulated by the knowledge given by Guru Krishna and by Shastra, will take one to the point is everything is Krishna. So let me connect with that eternal soul who I am really connected with, but I have forgotten my connection. Therefore, I'm spinning around in this material world trying to make some kind of arrangement to find happiness, satisfaction, and peace of mind, which is never really happening. So the material world is designed so you become defeated in your desires for happiness. Okay, so surrender to Krishna. And Krishna concludes, after speaking the entire Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses, he goes through the whole process, tells us who he is, what is our relationship to him, how to connect him and to him on different ways, ultimately how this material energy works, who he is, what is our relationship with him, and then he ends that, all right, now you know everything, so therefore just come back to me, that's all. And if you don't come back to me, you'll have to keep learning the same lesson over and over again. Okay, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Such a wonderful class about the Lord. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, any questions or comments, you can please go ahead now. And please turn on your cameras if possible.
When you look in the mirror and you think that's me, that's also wrong. I'm looking at you in the form of, different images on this computer screen, but I'm seeing different forms, but behind the forms there is a soul, and that soul is the actual person. Although the forms are different, the soul is the same. So every living being is pure spiritual essence, part and parcel of Krishna. And we take on these different forms because in the material world, in order to live here, you have to have a material body. But don't think that body is you. And don't think your family members belong to you. And don't think your money is yours. Because all of these are part of the material energy to give you some kind of support so you can engage in your illusion in this material world. And so, okay,
Thank you so
get
much.
out of the illusion. Get out of the illusion. Come to the reality. Just serve the Lord in devotion. Chant the holy names. Take prasadam. Dance. Worship. And be happy. I was with my godbrothers today, two of them, and we were just talking how devotional service is so nice. Everything about it is so nice. There's no problems. There's no anxieties. Our only anxiety is that when we take up preaching, it becomes so difficult because people don't really want it. So we have to tax our brains to come up with ideas to convince the conditioned souls to stop their wayward activities and come back to who they really are. So that's the anxiety of a devotee. The only anxiety a devotee has is how to, as Prahlad Maharaj says, I'll stay in this material world only so I can preach to these fools and rascals who have made a humbug civilization here. That's all. Krishna, Lord Nrsimhadev wanted to take him back to the spiritual world. He said, no, I want to stay here because I know how much you love all of these living entities here. So I can serve you by trying to bring them back to you.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Sridevi Mataji, you have a question.
Thank you, Srimad. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Such a wonderful reiteration of the beauty and the eternality of the spiritual world, which is where we actually belong. So my question, Guru Maharaj, is this, that we all have an eternal relationship with Krishna, and we have lost that relationship. We had a form, we had a place in the spiritual world, we have lost that. So now in our endeavor to purify ourselves, to perfect the human form of life, we take shelter more and more of the instructions, and we ultimately, this is what I hear, that we will ultimately take shelter of a denizen of the spiritual world and go back. Now, does that mean that is the only position I have? What if after reaching the spiritual world, we want to be a tree, or I want to change into a butterfly or something else? Do we, because spirit is unlimited and any varieties are possible, can we also have a variety of services and change our position in the spiritual world?
Yeah, that's mentioned that if you want to serve Krishna in another way that is different than your eternal form in the spiritual world, you can. But you do that just maybe as a way to please Krishna. But it says that you'll find most satisfaction in your eternal form. But you can also change for the sake of service like that, if you want. Not as a whim, but as a, maybe I want to serve Krishna this way and give pleasure to Krishna in that way. But you won't be as satisfied in your service as you would in your natural position. Yeah, like that. I'm just thinking of something funny. You know that famous treatise called Paradise Lost by Dante? How many
Guru Maharaj?
of you heard of Dante's Paradise Lost?
Oh,
Raise
not
your
that.
hand.
I've
Raise
heard
your
of
hand.
Milton's Paradise Lost, but I didn't know Dante had also written
Oh
one.
no, yeah, Milton's Paradise Lost. Yeah, I'm sorry. Dante is something is it's another author. Milton's Paradise Lost. Yeah. Only you. All right, I won't tell you the funny thing he said. Okay, because it won't be funny because you don't know the story. It said Milton said Paradise Lost, and then he wrote the book Paradise Lost, and then his wife died, and then he wrote another book called Paradise Regained. Hare Krishna. Anyway, that's I just thought I just remembered that, so I thought I'd interject a little humor here.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. Yeah, okay, sorry. We'll get back to this serious discussion here. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj. It's funny.
So, Maharaj, may I ask a follow-up question to my first question, just to complete the understanding?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Follow-up question, yeah.
Okay. So, at what stage in our devotional life will we be able to take that shelter of the denizens of the spiritual world? At what point in our spiritual journey does that happen?
And taking shelter of an eternal associate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the process of Raganuga Bhakti. That comes when one reaches a certain level of maturity through the process of sadhana bhakti. And then one moves into the area of natural attraction for Krishna. As that natural attraction starts to develop, then the different stages, different symptoms of that stage develop, and then one of the principles to keep moving in that direction is to take shelter of an eternal associate of the Lord, worship that person, offer prayers to that person, glorify that person, understand the mood of that person. And you may also adopt that mood in your own practice. Not that you can imitate them, but you can understand their mood. So yeah, that is the initial stage of Raganuga sadhana. And everyone has to come to that stage ultimately.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, yeah.
We
that's
got one. You got RVR is there.
That's your last name, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev and all the devotees. Maharaj, I had a question in a lecture, like Srivadevi Mataji, the follow-up question. In the lecture, Prabhupada lecture, he was saying, I'm just reading, I want clarification, Maharaj. So still in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.22, so Srila Sanatan Goswami has informed us that those who are competent, those who have become competent to associate with Krishna, as Krishna says, Taktva Deham Punarjanam Neti Mameti. This Mameti, that spirit soul, goes to Krishna first of all within some universe where Krishna is having his pastimes, Bhauma Leela. He goes there, and then just like when a person is trained up as apprentice, then he is given the post just like a magistrate after passing the examinations, IC examination. He is trained up under some magistrate and then he is given the post. Similarly, a living entity, when he is actually eligible by Krishna consciousness, by development of Krishna consciousness, then immediately after giving up this body, he is transferred to that universe where Krishna is there, Bhaumalila. And after his being trained up thoroughly, then he is transferred to the original Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan. So, Maharaj, how it works? Can you please explain by example?
Well, you explained it very nicely.
Yeah.
What else can we say? That's the process.
Like
You go somewhere in the material universes where Krishna is having his pastimes there, and you continue your service to the Lord as his personal associate or in association with the Lord. And then that purifies you completely, and then you go back to Godhead. Yes, you described it nicely.
so when one is not fully purified, then he can't go to the Krishna Loka directly.
There are cases where you can go directly to Krishna Loka, but that's rare. Usually, Prabhupada said it usually takes 2 lifetimes at least. But one can go back in 1 lifetime. That's possible by the strength of their bhakti. And that's a special feature of Lord Chaitanya's mercy, which he's made the process even easier through the Harinam Sankirtan. If you really want to make fast progress in this movement, just chant. That's all. Chant. Kirtan, japa, just chant. Hare Krishna. 24 hours a day. Because Lord Chaitanya has come to inaugurate the chanting, and he's made that the process of purification and the means for attaining the spiritual world. Just chant, and perfect your chanting. Go through the different stages till you reach Sudanam, pure chanting. But the rest of the process is to support the chanting. So reading Bhagavatam, associating with and serving devotees, taking Krishna Prasadam, and going to honor the Lord on his different appearance days like that. All supports the process of Harinam Sankirtan, which is ultimately the means for purification. All of these other activities also purify and elevate you too. But without Harinam Sankirtan, you can't reach perfection. Not in this age. So chant. I can't. I gotta go to school. I gotta make money. I gotta look funny. So we got so many other things that we have to do, or we think we have to do. So sometimes we say, all right, so you go to the doctor, he says, no, well, sorry to give you this news, but you have a terminal disease and there's no cure for it. So make your plans to leave the world. And so you think, all right, I got 1 month left. So what am I going to do? I'm going to buy a new house. Yes. I'm going to get married. Yes. I'm going to get a job where I can become, an executive. No, you don't think like that. You think, well, I'll go to a holy place and associate with holy people and just absorb myself in bhakti 24/7. So we all have what is called time cancer. You know what time cancer is? Time cancer is the cancer of time. The time is a cancer that is growing, 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 and it'll reach maturity, and then, Haribo, you die. At least your body dies, not you. It's called time cancer. So don't worry, why waste time trying to make this material world better? Do the minimum just to live and go on with your real business. That is to come to the point of loving Krishna, which is possible by and made easier by Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gauda Triste Namaha. Don't waste time. And you think, well, if I give up all of my material activities, what am I going to do? Well, I can preach Krishna consciousness. I can go to the temple. I can read books. I can study. I can write articles based on my study. I can cook prasadam for the Lord and his devotees. I can do so many things. It's not like if you give up your material activities, there's nothing to do. You have more than to do. You find if you talk to devotees, and practically all the devotees who are engaged in Krishna, they always say, "I don't have enough time to do the services I need to do or I want to do." They all say the same thing. We got more things than we can possibly accomplish when you get in spiritual life. But the accomplishment is not required. It's simply that we have so many opportunities for service that it becomes, like you say, just so wonderful because you can do so many things for Krishna. So if you give up your material activities or those things that are really not, and most of us, we should sit down and see what in my life that I don't really need. Sit down, make a list, and see what the things that are absolutely necessary and the things that are just things that you just somehow or other came upon and now it becomes part of your life. Everyone should do that. And then you'll have more time for Krishna consciousness. My experience with devotees is they're all sincere, but they waste so much time in the material world. Running around, trying to do all of them, keeping up with the material energy. That's my experience. All the devotees are sincere, but they just don't have enough time. And you have to give time, quality time to devotional service for it to actually come to the point of it becoming transcendental happiness. You don't give it enough time, you can't taste that happiness. You can get some little increments of this happiness as we go along, but give it complete time. More and more. More Krishna, less Maya. I'm thinking, and we also, well, if you look back in our life, maybe 1 year ago, we're doing more than what we were doing a year ago in Krishna consciousness, that's for sure. But we can go as slow as or as fast as we want to go. I remember I met one person. He took up chanting the holy name of the Lord. And he said, I'm chanting one round now, and every year I'll add another round. It said every year. It'll take you 16 years to get to 16 rounds. I didn't know what to say because he was really proud of the fact that he was going to chant one round for a year and then take another round. And after another year, I was thinking, oh my God. So we can go as slower and as fast as we can. We can go fast up to the point where we don't freak out. Freak out means, oh no, Krishna's taking everything material away from me. What am I going to do? Ah. There she goes. There he goes. There goes that thing. There goes that thing. Oh no. What's left? Krishna smiling. So yeah, the process is generally gradual, but we can make it as gradual or as quickly as we can. But it's generally gradual. But if you follow the gradual process, you'll go slower than the gradual process. Therefore, you have to push forward and always be thinking how to give more time to Krishna and less time to our material responsibilities, energies, material body. You see, as devotees come to Krishna conscious, they sleep less, they eat less, and they spend more time in service. It becomes a more or less a natural progression. They diminish their bodily activities. I was talking to one very senior devotee. He says, when I get up in the morning, I run. I run as fast as I can, take my shower, take care of my body so I can get to the temple. He wants to get to the temple as fast as he can. He goes to the whole morning program every day. So yeah, he says, I run. So that means he's really doesn't want to waste any time and eager. Of course, don't trip and fall when you're running, but at the same time, don't waste time. Mm-hmm. Time is so precious. Time is very precious. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kaviraj Prabhu.
We got KK is up there.
Maharaj, one just clarification, Maharaj. Can I ask?
Where are you?
Vilasini Mataji.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, now I see you. Okay.
She wants to ask some further question.
Yeah.
Maharaj, can we say that like we are also part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela?
Yeah, you're completely in it. It says that in Chaitanya Charitamrita that ISKCON, this ISKCON brand, the society is a branch of Lord Chaitanya's tree. He's manifested his mercy in the form of this society created by Srila Prabhupada, which propagates his teachings worldwide. Yeah. Yeah, we're in the Leela.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Krishna Kaviraj Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you. Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you, Maharaj, all glories to all of the devotees. Guru Maharaj, I wanted to ask you, what is the recommended process for acquiring some Gauranitai deities?
What is the recommended process for acquiring
Gauranitai deities?
Gauranitai deities? You ask the spiritual master, and then from there you find out.
Okay, Maharaj.
Write a letter.
Will do.
Good.
Thank you. Sridevi Mataji, before going to your question, I have one question from Mohanasni Mataji on the chat. I'll take that. Mohanasni Mataji is asking, Guru Maharaj, what does devotional service in this context mean?
In what context?
Maybe in the context of the purport. Mataji, you want to unmute yourself and ask?
Yes, thank you. Guru Maharaj, you spoke during the lecture about the devotional service, and that's why I asked, what does devotional service even mean in the context of the text you have read and gave lecture about? Because I was thinking like this, maybe we are not always able to come to the temple, but we can serve to the family. We can take devotional service also as through the family members, for example, cooking prasad for the Lord at home, like this. I mean, if it's meant like only in the temple, or is it meant like Krishna is always in our heart, so we can serve on
Yeah.
the other platform, like also like Manasa.
Yeah. Well, manasa means when you don't have anything. So we're not in thinking on that level. So you can ask the spirit. My concern is that the devotees go to the temple and also do some service at the temple. Mhm. In other words, you can serve at home, that's nice, but if you have a temple there, the temple environment kind of gives you the spiritual energy that is complete. And so you have the deities there, you have the devotees there, you have the service, everything is there at the temple. So if you can go to the temple, go and then do some service each week. If it's impossible to go to the temple for whatever reason, say the temple is 200 miles away or something, or even 100 miles away, then get deities at home and serve the deities there. Set up an altar at home, worship, offer your food, and create a temple environment within the home. And the deity becomes the focus of all of the activities. So that you can do. Anyone who is first initiated, can have deities at home. They're not initiated, we don't recommend, we wait till they actually get their first initiation and then take on the responsibility of worshiping the deities at home. That's particularly Gaur Nitai. And there's some devotees that have more than just Gaur Nitai. Like Srimati, she has Jagannath there. You have Gaur Nitai too, right? Yeah.
Yes, Maharaj.
Gaur Nitai and Jagannath. That's usually a nice combination. And there's some that have Radha Krishna deities like that. There's others who have, keep a deity of Srila Prabhupada also on your altar. So the deity particularly is meant for the worship of those who can't go to the temple, and therefore you can set up, your home becomes a mandir, or temple.
Thank you, Maharaj. Mataji,
Masani, you don't have deities, do you?
We have Jagannath and Gaur Nitai. You have.
Oh, you do?
Like
Yeah,
Srimati.
so keep it regularly, keep it clean, and take only what you cook for them as your prasadam. That's all.
We do. May I have also second
But
question?
you're living right near New Simhachalam. It's not far.
Yeah, maybe we should get together again.
All right, when I come in May, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I was just with Govinda just a couple of days ago.
Really? In India? Ah, he's in India now.
Yeah, the temple president of New Simhachalam.
Mhm.
What's his Govinda what? Govinda something?
Govinda Dev.
Govinda Dev, yeah. Mhm.
I would also have a second question, if I may.
Mm.
Actually, my grandma lost her body yesterday, so she left this material world from this body, and that's why I ask this question: how does the soul actually leave the body? If actually she was very pious, and she was also God conscious, and I gave her also Kantimala and Lord Jagannath as Patita Pavana that she kept under her pillow always, and she was thinking on the Lord, but it was not Krishna for her, it was just God. She didn't know like the name or how does it look like or anything. And that's therefore my question would be if it's possible to achieve the tickets back to Godhead anyway, or how is it possible?
Well, even if she doesn't know the name of God, and if she's actually has devotion to God, that's sufficient.
Mhm.
But piety will elevate one to a better material position in the next life. Well, she'll get a chance to pick up for where she left off. Mhm. She'll get a birth in maybe a devotee family, and then she can continue to make progress. Suchinam sambatam gehe yoga brasta prajayate. One who worships the Lord but does not complete will pick up in their next life and get a good opportunity to continue their worship, their devotion. Mhm.
Mhm. And how
And,
does exactly the soul leave the body then?
well, we have 9 gates in the body.
Mhm.
It leaves through one of the gates, like that. For those who are very sinful, it leaves through the rectum, the lowest of all. Those who are more pious, it leaves through um, usually through the mouth. Usually through the mouth. Soul comes out of the mouth. Mhm. Like that. And those who are completely, it leaves through the top of the head, the Brahma Rudram. There's a hole in the skull on the top of the head where it leaves through there. Mhm. So depending on the more elevated the soul is, the more higher it leaves in the body, like that. Most materialists, they leave through the very lower parts of the body, like that. Mhm.
That's why it said like till the last breath, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just keep chanting.
Till the last breath. Thank you.
Okay. We have any more questions?
Sridevi Mataji.
Actually, not so much a question, Guru Maharaj, as a recollection. I remember your description of His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj as never wasting even one moment. He was so efficient when it came to using time that he packed so much into the life that he had and did phenomenal service for Srila Prabhupada. He said he was on a very highly elevated platform and he wouldn't waste even 1 minute. So when you were talking about the time cancer, I was remembering that. That's all.
Okay, good. Thank you. We can stop here. Actually, I do have another. I have to go. Sri Devi, come to the temple tonight. Don't sit home.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. I will come to the temple now right after class.
Yeah, at 6:30, Lokanath Swami's gonna sing.
Okay. I'm coming.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Such a wonderful class and nice discussion. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We'll see you tomorrow as
Thursday.
no. Yeah, I think Sri Devi's got the class tomorrow, right?
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah.
Yeah, I will be doing Shiva Ratri somewhere. I think they got me doing this program for Shiva Ratri.
Can we watch online, Maharaj?
I don't know if there is an online feature for this one. It's at Rajpur. It's not in Mayapur.
Okay.
You can check it out and see. Go to Mayapur TV and see what. They might be live streaming it there from there. I don't know.
Can we know the timings, Maharaj? At what time?
I think I'm supposed to be there at 6 o'clock IST,
Okay.
which is 6 o'clock IST is right now. This is what the time is now. It's right now. It's 5 after 6 in the evening here.
Yes, Maharaj. Okay. Sure, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. If we- Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm giving Srimad Bhagavatam class at the temple on Friday morning, which is at 8 o'clock IST. Those of you who are in America, you may be able to catch it. Those of you in London, you can stay up all night if you want. If you can't sleep, just get up and listen to the class. It'll put you to sleep.
And Maharaj, for Shivratri, what do you recommend? Like a half-day fasting or whole-day fasting?
That's optional.
Okay.
Fasting on Shivaratri. It's actually Maha Shivaratri.
Yeah.
Shivaratri actually happens every month.
Yeah.
But this is once a year. It's called Maha Shivaratri. So the cowherd boys, headed by Nanda Maharaj, went to one place to honor Shivaratri and said they fasted that morning. It's in Krishna book, Bhagavatam.
Yes.
I could choose. For Vaishnava, it's optional. But he is Vaishnava Yata Shambhu. He's the best of all Vaishnavas. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna.